Seasonal migration has long been a practice for improving livelihood in rural areas. However, in the last few decades, there has been a growing incidence of distressed seasonal migration. According to an estimate, there are 326 million migrant population in India, of which short-term migrants vary between 15 to 100 million. Most of these people who migrate to work in brick kilns, construction, and other informal sectors lead a pathetic life devoid of basic rights and entitlements. Children are the worst affected by distress migration. Due to frequent back and forth movement from village to the migration destination, their education gets severely affected and they end up being absorbed into the unorganized labor force. Though the Government of India has been proactively implementing and ensuring to bring all the children under the ambit of right to education, the migrant children still remain excluded. In order to come out with a possible solution, Aide Action collaborated with Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan Government of Andhra Pradesh and conducted a mammoth mapping exercise in the state where 779 NGOs took part and identified 1.2 lakh inter- and intra-state migrant children. An interstate coordination meeting was organized where the findings were disseminated to Secretaries of Ministry of Education and Ministry of Labour and Employment of the states of Odisha, Tamil Nadu and the then Andhra Pradesh. The administration in all three states was convinced about the issue and they agreed to provide requisite language-specific teaching and learning material for continued education of the migrant child.
With the advent of Right to Free and Compulsory Education Act for children, and with the mandate that no child should be out of school in the state, it has become very imperative for the state government to see that children under different categories are brought within the ambit of education.
Following the positive response from the state governments, Aide Action piloted Educating Migrant Children, a systematic intervention in destination areas for the schooling of these migrant children who were out for 3 to 6 months. Additionally, facilitating seasonal hostel for children ready to stay back in their villages was another major activity of the project. Though the respective state governments provided teaching and learning material, one of the challenges for the interstate migrant children was the medium of instruction. To overcome this, Aide Action recruited education volunteers from source location who would be coexisting with the migrants during their stay at worksite. This strategy was helpful in creating a school atmosphere similar to that of the source village. Once the seasonal migration came to an end, the volunteers conducted exams and issued certificates to all those who successfully completed classes. These children were then reintegrated into the local government schools at source villages. Through this project, Aide Action succeeded in building a sustainable interstate coordination between the government of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, which is benefiting thousands of migrant children. After witnessing positive results, the model was replicated in Odisha and Tamil Nadu. Aide Action is now advocating with other state governments and working towards convincing them to adopt this model to ensure the education of millions of migrant children in India. It is also working towards adoption of this practice as a part of the Interstate Migrants Act of India so that this mechanism becomes mandatory for all the state governments to adopt and practice.